Hey, speak for yourself, listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com. Now, let's start the show. Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley on the solo today. No Acho, but he'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. We're going to keep it rolling still, and let's get it started in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers are finally playing the Ravens later today. Pittsburgh is the only undefeated team in the NFL and are in the top spot in the AFC. Steelers are off to their best start in franchise history, but the Chiefs are right on their heels. Defending champs are 10-1 and are red hot as well with 6 straight wins. I've got two Fox NFL analysts with me today, LeVar Arrington and Bucky Nook, if you Buck Brooks. So, Bucky, you're up first. Are the Steelers a legit threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
Oh, they're absolutely a legit threat. They're in the mix because they're undefeated. However, they do have some kryptonite that I'm a little worried about.
Okay.
What I'm worried about when I look at this Steelers team is they are not a team that really loves running the football. They're doing everything with the quick rhythm passing game. The ball is coming out. They're using empty formations, quick passes. Ben Roethlisberger is getting the ball out of his hands in under 2.5 seconds. And so they're winning that way. But as the weather gets murkier and as we begin to play these physical teams, can they adopt the physical style that you need to have in the postseason? That is my biggest concern about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Interesting. I think it's the Steelers, and they're a threat to the Chiefs in the AFC, obviously. You don't have to go to the Weather Channel to even go there, Bucky. You just stay on this sports channel, and we can break this down with the X's and O's. It's a boring answer, but it's a real answer. It's about getting to Patrick Mahomes with only 4. It's as simple as that. If you can get to Patrick Mahomes with only 4, then you can have 7 in coverage. Then you can start to disguise your coverages, run different coverages, talk about playing man-free out there. Go out there, play some combo man. Even could play some zone, whatever you need to do to just switch it up, to reshuffle the deck when you're facing the Chiefs in that offense. But what's the intention of doing that, getting to them with only 4s? We saw Tampa Bay get to them, 7 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, and almost pulled that game out. But we also saw earlier in the season when the Raiders were able to get to them with 22 hits on the quarterback, and that's why the Raiders won that game. What does that allow you to do? Not only have those coverages, but hopefully make this a one-dimensional team. Now, we know that the Chiefs will never abandon their passing game. Why? Because they're number 1 in the NFL in throwing the football. But what would it do is make them have to rely somewhat on their running game. And let's look at their running game of late because it hasn't been as spectacular as advertised. We can see right now Le'Veon Bell, come on now. He's a bust. 3.6 yards a rush. He's not doing anything for the Chiefs. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, interestingly enough, has been a non-factor as well. If you look at him, just averaging 48 scrimmage yards in his last 5 games. I don't know if he's hit the rookie wall or whatever. But if you can make the Chiefs look somewhat one-dimensional, then you have an opportunity to strike. And that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers can do.
They are absolutely not a threat to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right? Now, or the Steelers are not a threat to the Kansas City Chiefs. I said it correctly, Marcellus. This team is better than the Kansas City Chiefs. So the better question would be, are the Kansas City Chiefs a threat to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Where you from again? Where you from again?
You can scratch, you can scratch your brow, wipe your brow all you want, bucks a billion. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I looked at these teams as an overall whole. If you look at the coaching staff, who has the better coaching staff? I'm not taking Kansas City's coaching staff over Pittsburgh's coaching staff. That's a wash. Let's see, quarterbacks, I'll give a slight edge to Mahomes. A slight edge. But you got to first, I'll give a slight edge to the undefeated first ballot Hall of Famer that's going in. I'll give a slight edge to Patrick Mahomes right now. If I'm looking at the running attack, your second leading rusher for the Kansas City Chiefs is who? Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Your second leading rusher for your team is Patrick Mahomes. If you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to do that rushing game thing against that Pittsburgh Steelers, that vaunted old school, now new school, steel curtain of a defense, you're wrong. And if you look at this defense versus Kansas City's defense, it's not even the same class. It's two separate classes. The Steelers defense is playing really well. And although you may look at the running attack and say Connor, McFarland, Snell, they may not be 1,000-yard rushers, but they are effective and they are efficient enough for this team to do what they need to do. I look at the Steelers as not only a threat, I look at them as a more complete team.
Wow, man. I mean, I knew you grew up right there on the doorstep and all that, but I didn't know you had a terrible child right there.
It's just true. I do have one, but
because that right there, that endorsement, to me, I find it hard to believe that you don't think that the Kansas City Chiefs should be considered the favorite coming off of a Super Bowl title, and they're toying with everybody right now. They're bored, LeVar. They're not ready.
The Raiders.
They're not ready to really get into it. They beat the Raiders, though. They beat them. They teased them. Then they knocked them out in the last round. They beat them. They are running through everybody. We just saw what they did to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, my guy went for 2 bills in a quarter. Tyreek Hill went for 200 in a quarter. When I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I love Mike Tomlin. I like what they're doing. But I don't know if this team can get in a track meet and a shootout with the Kansas City Chiefs because that quarterback is so good. And he's on his back to his second.
How do you qualify that? Go ahead, Marcellus.
Well,
this is blasphemy.
Well, no, it's not blasphemy. It's called being objective. And that's something that you just lost in this argument, I guess, because of birth origin and locale. Like, you just threw your whole take into your birth certificate, basically, and say, hey, this is where I'm from, so this is what I'm going to root for. You have some merit there, but look, this is how the Steelers can really win this game. One, keep home field advantage. Think about it. If you're the number 1 seed, you have that home field advantage. You make Kansas City travel on the road. You guys know that Patrick Mahomes has not played a road game just yet in his playoff career. Think about all the guys who struggled in their first playoff road game. Let's look at Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Steve Young, Drew Brees. All of those guys lost their first playoff road game. I don't know. We're looking at a future GOAT potentially in Patrick Mahomes, but I like to see him outside of Kansas City, even without fans out there in Pittsburgh. You have to travel this team. Now, once you travel this team and you're able to get to them up front, because what do you have? The Steelers second best in the NFL in pass rush this season. And they're first in defensive coverage when you're talking about their defensive backs against the receivers. So that is a formula for success. Hey, we can match up with your number 1 passing offense, us on defense. And then you start to strike in terms of what they're going to try and do with the 18th ranked rushing offense versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the formula, guys. It's simple, it's boring. I hate to be this objective and calculated in my response, but it's not all this extra stuff. It's not the weather. It's not where you're from. It's about the fact that you got to try and get to Mahomes with the guys up front, and they have the guys up front, and see what you can do in coverage.
I feel so disrespected that you guys would base the objectivity of my response off of where I'm from. Yes, I'm from the 412, baby.
No one's ever said that.
That doesn't mean that I'm swinging my terrible towel during this show and during this segment. I have a professional duty, my friends, to say it the way that it is. You're talking to me about an undefeated team, which, by the way, let me add to that, the only undefeated team in the National Football League this year. That is not – you two tell me, when is that accidental that you go 10 weeks losing to 10 opponents? I'll wait.
Well, you say
never happened.
It doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl.
It does not mean you're going to win the Super Bowl, which means that then Kansas City having one loss doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl.
I get you that.
All right? They got their Super Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback back in the fold that they didn't have last year, that everybody thought was washed up, that everybody was out hanging on the clothesline trying to get dried up. He's not going to play anymore. He's come back, and he's whomping tail. Juju's healthy. He's whomping tail.
What?
You got Claypool balling out. You got Ebron, who should have been, by the way, a perennial Pro Bowler for many years, but got caught up in the matrix of going to one of them teams when you're really good coming out of college. We won't go there, but he's back now. This team is having a whole lot of fun. They love one another. They believe in one another, and it's playing out on the field. Ask me how I know. Ask me, because I know people on the team. Quite frankly, I have personal, direct information from people,
I'm sure,
from that locker room, coaching staff, and players. I won't give up my sources, but I do have sources in Pittsburgh that tell me that this team truly loves themselves.
Save them, Bucky.
They love each other, and they
Save them, Bucky. He's selling Girl Scout
more
cookies
than
now.
a threat to Kansas City. They're better team.
Absolutely. I'm sure you know everybody. You probably have season tickets and all kinds of other stuff, and Pittsburgh stuff on your Christmas tree and all of that, because that's what you've done, coming from the 4-1-2, as you so
4-1-2, baby.
But here's what I'm gonna say. Now we match it up with the Kansas City Chiefs, because I've heard your argument. I've heard you talk about Big Ben, but if you're noticing with Big Ben, Big Ben is looking just like Tom Brady and Drew Brees. He doesn't push the ball down the field, and as they begin to constrict this defense around this offense that likes to throw a bunch of dink and dunk passes to these itty-bitty wideouts, it's going to be harder for the Pittsburgh Steelers to manufacture the explosive play. And the one thing that we know about the Kansas City Chiefs, you can slow them down, but you can't stop them. They are going to put points up on the board. And even as Marcellus outlines a strategy that is a great strategy, hey, play soft, bend but don't break. We've seen teams do that, and we saw the Buffalo Bills do that, and they ran for 207. You can have an answer for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're too good, and even though they may have one loss, I think we know, and we should celebrate them as the favorite. In fact, I'm pinning them in. They're going to the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, 15, right there.
Oh,
but please clip this segment. Please clip the segment and run it back when the Pittsburgh Steelers womp tail and are in the Super Bowl.
Well, LeVar, I can't clip this segment because I don't want to show anybody any more of you just listing names on the roster like they the homies and then calling that analysis.
I'm not.
Then all you started to do was read the roster and say they love each other. And that's how they going to win this damn game. That ain't how you going to win this damn game.
I look down one time.
It's simple as this, man. Look, we saw this running game be special in a couple of situations. The first game against the Houston Texans. Oh, Houston Texans 31st ranked in their rush defense. Oh, you brought up the Buffalo Bills. Oh, 25th ranked in their rush defense. That's when they were special. But when have they played a top 10 rush defense like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are ranked 8th? Oh, against the Bucs. How did that turn out for Edwards-Helaire? 37 yards. The point being, you bend but don't break against Patrick Mahomes. And you might put it on the rookie's shoulders, and I'm not sure if he could tote it against those boys from the 4-1-2. Coming up, Cam Newton had his worst game of the year Sunday, but the Patriots say they're not losing confidence in him. Oh, really? We'll tell you if we're buying that next. Speak for yourself.
Go to Pittsburgh.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Patriots won Sunday, but Cam Newton is coming off the worst passer rating of his career. Cam has more interceptions than touchdown passes in his first season in New England, but offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels said the only stat Cam cares about is in the win column and added he, quote, absolutely still has confidence in his quarterback as a passer. So, Bucky, I'm starting with you. Buying the Patriots are still confident in Cam?
Hey, man, anytime you start pointing to a quarterback's wins, that's when you know that you don't have a lot of confidence in it, because normally we always talk about their other statistics. And I'm a Cam Newton fan. I believe this was going to be a great fit in New England. It hasn't worked out the way that I thought. They're winning in spite of Cam not being a very effective and efficient passer. That said, they still can win. They still can do the running game stuff that they're doing. They can use him as a single wing quarterback, run around the corner, let him do the goal line power stuff that they're having success with Damian Harris also contributing. But if they're going to win, they're going to win in spite of Cam, not because of Cam, because they're asking him simply, don't give the game away with your turnovers. Let's run the ball with you and others. Let's lean on the defense and get some contribution from the special team. That is our recipe for success. They're doing it in spite of Cam.
Oh, how dare you come at Cam Newton like that? Like he's not effective and not efficient? Yeah, they still got confidence in Cam Newton because they know what they have in Cam Newton. Cam Newton is the lipstick on this pig. Remember in the preseason? Oh, we didn't have a preseason. You mean the offseason when everyone's like, New England gonna be sorry this year? That's why Tom Brady left. No weapons. Oh, my God. COVID has rocked this team. They don't even have players to go out there and suit up. Where the starters at? And then Cam Newton signs late. And then when Cam Newton shows up, people are still questioning Cam Newton. Oh, man, that MVP year 5 years ago. What's Cam Newton going to do if he stays healthy? Not only did Cam Newton stay healthy so far, he's reset the expectations to the point where the Patriots potentially are a playoff team. And no one saw that coming looking at this roster. But because Cam Newton's on this roster, absolutely they believe in him. Bucky, don't be the guy that says Cam Newton's not efficient when he has his highest completion percentage in his career this year. Don't be the guy that says Cam Newton's not effective when last week, yeah, he threw, what, 80 yards? But the week before, 365 yards. Oh, let's go back to week 2 when he had, what, 390 yards against Seattle. What was the problem with both of those games? They lost those games. So they've come up to the realization that, hey, Cam, we know you can cook, even though you don't even know the playbook. But let us go out there and still play the Patriot way until you feel completely comfortable. So rein it in a little bit. That's not an indictment on Cam Newton as much as this team has not added up all his great individual play into a team win. So it's a simple redirection of the formula, but it's certainly a buy-in to Cam Newton and his services because he's the reason why they're even in the playoff conversation.
Man, I love your way with words. I love the way that you put sentences together. You would be a very compelling guy in debate club, all of that other stuff. However, you don't believe that garbage that you just spit out. We've been on teams long enough to know that when we're working around quarterbacks, man, we're running the ball. We got quarterback powers. We're doing all this. We're standing in front of the meeting and saying, hey, special teams, we got to set up the team. We got field position. I need the punt returner to take it to the 40. All of these other things. Defense, scoop and score. Hey, pick off a pass in practice, run it back. Bill Belichick is doing all of that because they know they can't score on offense unless they're able to get it really close. And I'm saying this. I like Cam Newton in this situation. They're just asking Cam, don't give it away. Don't throw it. Just pitch it or run it. That's all you can do. Just do those things and we'll be fine.
I guess I'm a homer again. And Bucky Brooks is an old curmudgeon. And that's, you know, it's all good. It's all good that you're so hateful, Bucky. It's all good. I know you love Cam, but maybe I'm a homer for loving Cam. But of course I'm buying that the Patriots are confident in Cam. There's no reason for McDaniels to come out and say anything that would shake Cam Newton's confidence. So what? He's had a couple bad games. Who else in the National Football League at the quarterback position has had poor play during the course of their games? I'm not buying that at all. If they were not confident in Cam Newton, you know what the Patriot way is? They don't owe Cam anything. They're going to put somebody else in the lineup, and they're going to test it out. You know why? Because what? I mean, we can only go up from here anyway. If it's that bad as you're making it out to sound, just don't mess it up, Cam. Cam, don't go out there and lose the game for us, Cam. That is not Bill Belichick. That is not the Patriots way. That's not the way they're handling their business. Therefore, when I look at what Josh McDaniel is saying and them figuring out ways to win, that is what matters. That is the Patriot way, figuring out how to win. And you know who's at the helm? You know who's the leader of us all as a team figuring out how to win? It's Cam Newton.
Interesting, man. Look, I'm not going to try and make it so altruistic. Like, Cam is just so unselfish. He doesn't care about his stats. He doesn't care about anything but winning. But Cam has accomplished everything else but the ultimate win, the ultimate championship, that therefore he's like, I've arrived here. I wasn't born here. We're all former players. We're all born trying to get ours. And then we're going to get ours as a collective after I get mine. But Cam's already got his. He's a former MVP. He's already been the man everywhere he goes. And he realizes I played in a Super Bowl, but I didn't win that same Super Bowl. So now I'm on the yellow brick road, as they tell tell me, to winning the Super Bowl. Why? Because I'm in New England. It's where the dynasty was created. It's where the culture is a winning culture. And Bill Belichick is the GOAT of all coaches. So now if Bill Belichick has been saying nothing but the praises of Cam Newton, and now you see it with Josh McDaniels, who are we to sit there and start to complain and start to say, oh, you know what, they're trying to win around Cam Newton, when they have seen stellar performances from Cam Newton, especially of late. This is a team that's 3-1 in this last 4. And remember, there was an interruption to Cam and his season because of COVID. Not only did it rock the team before the season, it rocked Cam Newton and the team during the season. No practice, and obviously he got off track, and then he's now found his way once again. But to say that they don't believe in Cam Newton, that's absurd, because I think that Bill Belichick knows what he would have as an alternative without Cam Newton. Did you not watch that game? Kansas City, New England, when they landed on that day? Jarrett Stidham and them boys going out there, Brian Hoyer. Belichick knows he better love him some Cam Newton. Now let's move on to another quarterback in Baker Mayfield. His Browns 8-3 after winning their 3rd straight game Sunday. And Cleveland is currently the 5th seed in the AFC playoff standings. But there are still questions with their quarterback. Baker has been inconsistent this year, throwing 2 touchdown passes Sunday, but also missing wide open receivers. So LeVar, can you now muster up all the love that gathers around any team and all the chemistry and tell us, can the Browns trust Baker Mayfield in the playoffs?
Of course they can. If they make it to the playoffs, it's because Baker Mayfield being at the quarterback's position that they make it to the playoffs. So why not trust him?
That's the reason?
No, but that's good. It's good reasoning. It's sound reasoning. I mean, we got to make it to the playoffs to be in the playoffs, to trust them in the first place, right? So, of course, you can trust him in the playoffs. What, we're going to trust him to get us to the playoffs and then pull him out and trust somebody else to take us through with our running game? Here's what happens, right? Because I know Bucky's hating tail going to jump on here, and maybe you will too, Marcellus, and talk about how the running attack is the reason why this team is going to win. And that's what you have to trust. Okay, that's wonderful. You're in the AFC North, and you're 8-3. This man has been the most maligned winning quarterback this season and maybe for his career. I look at him. I have been one of his main detractors on this very show, on this very Speak for Yourself platform. I have hated on Baker Mayfield. I called him a little lap dog and not a yard dog. I said those things. But this team is 8-3, and right now they are in better position going to the playoffs than the Baltimore Ravens. Who would have ever thought that, people? And they are. So when I look at, the running attack, sure, you're going to have a running attack, and sure, you'll lean on that running attack. Sometimes it's not about how many touchdown throws you make, it's how many throws you make. And as long as he's making good enough throws to move those defenses back off of the ball and turn them into pass-respecting defenses because of what Baker could do in the passing attack, and they get those spaces for them to be able to run the ball, he's doing what he needs to do. The trust doesn't have to be him being this world-beating franchise quarterback. The trust is him doing what he needs to do so that they can win games.
No, you said a lot, but you didn't say much because you know that they don't trust no damn Baker Mayfield. They haven't trusted him all season. What are you talking about? This is a guy who's thrown 81 fewer passing attempts compared to last season. And that's not by coincidence. That's by design. We have to hide Baker Mayfield with this running game and with our defense because Baker Mayfield has not fully evolved into a franchise quarterback. How is Baker Mayfield going to be something he's never been, which is a guy that you could say, go out there and win the football game by yourself as a franchise-looking quarterback? Baker Mayfield hasn't done that. I have nuggets galore on Baker Mayfield. Some of them are pretty damn damning. How about this? The Browns ranked 30th in pass offense. That's not good. And Baker Mayfield and the Browns are passing at the lowest rate in the entire NFL. That's not good. That shows you not only lack of trust, but a lack of production. 16 straight games under 300 passing yards. That's a full season, y'all. 25 straight games without back-to-back 250-yard passing games. Trust what? What the hell are you talking about, LeVar? There's no trust in Baker Mayfield because they've never seen anything.
Did he start last year?
Yeah, he started.
Did he start last year?
Yeah, he did. What happened?
Is he starting this year at 8-3?
Yeah.
You can throw out all those ratings and all those numbers. and all that damning information, and I'm sure
okay.
Bucky will come over and co-sign you, and that's fine. But be clear. They are 8-3 and in position to get into the playoffs with him as the starting quarterback.
LeVar, don't be that guy.
There's levels of trust.
Don't be that guy.
There's levels of trust.
We all went from being broke to having some money, and it happened like this overnight, right? And you know what's funny?
I always had money.
Boy, stop. You didn't have that LeVar Arrington 2000 money. I know when I saw you in the mall, you didn't have that money before. But it's funny. Hey, before the money, you riding around in whatever that hoopty looked like. They ain't turning their heads the same. Then when you riding around in something pretty, Baker is just riding around in a prettier car thinking he fine.
Yep.
He ain't fine. It's just you got a different car around you, surrounding you,
I
making you look
trusted
good.
my first car more than I trusted that first CL 500 that I drove. I had more problems with that CL than I did with my Subaru Rodeo. There's levels of trust.
Baker.
There's levels of
don't listen to
trust.
LeVar. He gonna have you fooled.
Rich people problems. And when I look at this team, the thing that can really prevent them from making a legitimate run is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has plenty of opportunities in the passing game to really dial it up, but he's unable to. Do you think Kevin Stefanski really wants to hand the ball to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt on every play? No, he would like to throw it, but he knows that the more that he throws it, the more the odds go up that his quarterback is going to throw it to the other team. So what they typically do, they throw early and run late. And in the fourth quarter, they try not to throw at all. And so it's about Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, that physical offensive line, and Myles Garrett and the boys on defense hunting. It is not about Baker Mayfield because they know they can't put the ball in his hands and say, Baker, go win it.
It's simple as that, man. Look, the dude playing against the under 500 teams, they're undefeated. But the teams above 500, 1-3. The only winning team they beat this year is the Colts. When you get into the playoffs, we all know they try to take your best asset away and then say, play plan B. If they take that running game away and say, play plan B, and it's Baker Mayfield, who has not been in that predicament, in that situation all year long, yeah, he gonna blow up. It's called imploding. Boom. That's what's gonna happen. Coming up, Carson Wentz is having a season to forget. But we'll tell you if there's any hope for his future in Philly. Next, speak for yourself. Where you at, RJ? Let's talk about Carson Wentz, thanks, Colvin, who is having the worst year of his career. He's also dealing with chatter of rookie Jalen Hurts possibly replacing him. Report says Wentz was not thrilled with Hurts being picked in the second round. The report added, quote, here is your franchise quarterback, the guy you paid a lot of money to keep long-term, and he's having to prove himself all over again. So, Bucky, is there any hope for Carson Wentz's future in Philly?
Yeah, there's hope, but it won't happen this year because Carson Wentz is there. The contract prevents the Eagles from moving on. It's like a $50 million dead cap hit if they move on from him this year. Then it goes down to maybe 26, 30 million the following year. So Carson Wentz is going to be there. I think the onus is on Doug Peterson, Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman to figure out a way to get Carson Wentz back to playing at the level that he was playing at. Not even 2017, but last year. And so if that means blowing out some of their offensive coaches and bringing in some friendly faces or putting in a scheme that best fits his skill set, they have to do that because number 11 is your starting quarterback for 2021 and beyond in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's stuck there, and that's his only hope, the fact that, hey, I'm still here, and you got to get a return on investment, so why not see what I have? But what he has been so subpar that I think the writing's already on the wall. Yeah, we're stuck with you, but we're not feeling you, and we're going to make plans to move forward even though you'll still be here. Usually that happens in your absence, but it's going to happen in his presence. That said, look at this dude, man. Like, there's almost a little sympathy I can have for him. And it's not the way that Acho always talks about, oh, he doesn't have his weapons and his offensive line and all that. Nah. Once you get paid $39 million in one calendar year of football, nobody wants to hear what else is around you, in part because you took up the money, so not that much is around you. But you're supposed to be the quarterback, a franchise quarterback who can lift this team. And in the absence of playmakers, are supposed to be that same playmaker. But look at how many times Carson Wentz had to prove himself, which is interesting. Talking about the equity that he built up in his career it seems like he's lost all of that equity. This is the same guy who at first had to prove he was worthy of being a number 2 overall pick. We've all been in that position before, LeVar especially, because he was a number 2 overall pick, but we all had to make a name for ourselves in the NFL. Carson Wentz had to check that box. Then there were the questions of his leadership. He only went to the corner of the locker room and hung around the guys that he liked. So then he started buying shotguns for everybody in the damn locker room to buy their love and see if that can work. But there were question marks about his leadership. Then he's an MVP candidate, but he doesn't finish the deal there. So he doesn't get all of the equity that he deserves from having an MVP-type campaign. Then Nick Foles comes out as the backup and wins the Super Bowl. So now you get a Super Bowl ring, but it feels hollow because you ain't even finished the deal if you're Carson Wentz. You got to prove yourself again. So then the next year, you put the team on your back, you go to the playoffs, and what happens? You get hurt in the game. You don't even finish the first quarter of that game. Once again, you got to reset your equity. Now they drafted your position. Like, that's insulting no matter what position you play, let alone franchise quarterback who just got paid. And now there's question marks about his practice habits. Yo, if that ain't enough ammunition to say we ain't feeling you, Carson Wentz, but we stuck with you, I don't know what is. Yeah, this is a situation that he's going to be there, but trust me, in their minds, they've already moved on.
What is this? Is this the real? Is this the View today? Are we a bunch of women up here sitting around a table talking about this man the way that y'all had just spoken about him? Y'all should be truly ashamed of yourselves. Let me explain something to y'all.
Oh, God.
I don't have a Super Bowl. I don't have a Super Bowl appearance. I don't have a Super Bowl ring. Never sniffed a Super Bowl. I don't think any of us have. All right.
Sure.
But what I've heard in the history as a fan of this game, first is the importance of winning a Super Bowl. And I think that you got to take into consideration Carson Wentz has all the hope in the world with his future in Philadelphia because he led the way and set the stage for that team to be able to do something that has never happened. As close as they've gotten, they have never solidified the deal of winning a Super Bowl. Sure, you will give some of that credit to Nick Foles, and I understand that. But Carson Wentz was the catalyst to that, and beyond that, he has played well. So in looking at all of the elements, yeah, he has played well beyond that Super Bowl year. Moving beyond that aspect, what? He hasn't played well since the Super Bowl?
In moments, in games.
He's been okay. So
exactly. 6 flags.
Maybe not consistent. Y'all can continue on with the hateful way of approaching this, but there has been positives for Carson Wentz. I got to tell you, this Super Bowl team is in purgatory. It's not just Carson Wentz that's right now. That whole Super Bowl thing is dead and gone, but you can't transition on to the next level. You're still here, and you still got to do something with it. That's the entire Philadelphia organization, from top to bottom, from owner on down to equipment manager. There's so much pressure on this team to have to perform, and I think they're feeling the pressures of having to perform. And when you look at what Carson Wentz is doing, you're looking at a symptom of who has the biggest spotlight on them outside of the head coach and having to perform. They have to figure that out. That doesn't necessarily mean that you jump ship and stop supporting the guy that you gave all that money to because you believed in him to be that guy. That's simple. That's simple arithmetic.
Look, LA, I've said this. Carson Wentz is going to be there, but let's not make it out like he is playing well. He is having a horrible year by any metric that we want to use. But that's what we have to judge it off. In fact, he's on the verge of costing Doug Peterson his job. He's looking at this guy every week like, I am stuck with a quarterback who's a double agent. He not only plays for the Eagles, but he's playing for every other team that's on our schedule. And I don't know how to work around it. The only saving grace for Carson Wentz was that he was drafted by the organization with the 2nd overall pick. They want to really make good on the investment, the big investment that they put in him when they did the long contract extension. The problem is you really don't know what you have because the playoffs, when I think about the playoffs with Carson Wentz, every time I think about the playoffs and I see the Eagles, I never see Wentz. He started last year, but he was out before the quarter was over. In the Super Bowl run, he wasn't around. The year after the Super Bowl run, Nick Foles is in. At some point, I would like to get a return on my investment where I see where my money is going. Right now, it's in the abyss, and my quarterback is certainly not playing well. I just don't know what to do, but I'm stuck with him because we paid him before we had to pay him.
Exactly, Bucky. I'm with you. I don't know what LeVar talking about this simple arithmetic. It was more of a word salad that you just put together. You need to chill, Tony Robbins, all this motivation speaking. Somebody pointed out, too, if you move your head to the side, we're looking at that family portrait. You got a lot of nostalgia in your conversation right now. You talking from the old school, because I don't know what Carson Wentz you talking about. That's back in the black and white picture days, because this color version of Carson Wentz this year, how the hell you going to say he playing well? LeVar Arrington.
I didn't say this year. I said after the Super Bowl, he still had some good games.
Some good games in the Super Bowl. That's how you stay in the NFL as a franchise quarterback. Just have some good games here and there, and that's how you become that guy.
You did it too.
Well, and that's why I'm here.
I did it too. We all did it.
Damn right.
Okay.
So if you want Carson Wentz to be
good for the goose is good for the gander.
If you want Carson Wentz to be in this and make it a 4-shot, it's coming. Because the way Carson Wentz is playing, he ain't long for the NFL. Look at this. 7 straight starts without once completing more than 60% of his passes. I love this nugget right here. Average passer rating in the NFL this year, 93.2. Average. Not the best, not the worst, just average, just whatever. Carson Wentz in 11 games has not hit that number one time. The average. Are y'all crazy? My last point, I got to put up a little full screen just to illustrate what happens when you give the ball away at this rate and you're inefficient at it. Look at the names on this list, because Carson Wentz is pacing himself with his giveaways and his completion percentage. DeShone Kizer, is he a good player? Geno Smith, how he doing? Eli Manning, the ashes of Eli Manning. Mark Sanchez, not once, twice Mark Sanchez, and Rex Grossman. That's the list of guys that Carson Wentz has put his post-2017 numbers in comparison with. But according to LeVar, those are some positive numbers. We'll see how that plays out. Coming up,
on The View, man.
The Cowboys haven't been the same since Dak's injury. I wouldn't mind being on The View. We'll tell you if his price tag has gone up in Dallas. Next, Speak for Yourself. Alcho was on The View. A little jealous today.
I'm sure.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Cowboys are last in the NFC least and have lost 5 out of 6. Dallas's offensive numbers have been offensive, down across the board since Dak Prescott's season into injury back in Week 5. Dak was playing on the franchise tag this season, and the Dallas Morning News had this to say about his future. Quote, Dak, who will earn $37.7 million if he plays on the franchise tag, will get at least $40 million a year once talks begin. He's earned it based on market value, and the Joneses should be thrilled to pay it. The future without Dak is too bleak to consider for a team built to win right now. So LeVar, has Dak's price tag for the Cowboys gone up this season?
No, it has not. And we can't base the premise of what we're going to talk about off of that last point. A team that's built to win right now. When have they won right now? We're not seeing them win right now. So they're not built to win right now. And they have not been built to win right now. They have had moments. If y'all going to jump on Carson Wentz and talk about how his moments don't matter and they don't count, then you need to apply the same logic to what we're talking about right now with the Dallas Cowboys. I'll tell you right now, just because of a Carson Wentz, you don't give that type of money to Dak Prescott. They haven't gone far enough in the playoffs with Dak Prescott to sit there and say, this is a guy that we have to have and pay him this exorbitant amount of money to be able to have an opportunity to try to win the Super Bowl right now. They're not close to a Super Bowl, people. Stop saying that this is a team that's built to win right now. In fact, I would even say that outside of some of the younger guys that are on this team, some of these guys might get blown up out of this scenario in this situation, and it might be time to start over. And looking at how poorly they're playing, why would you not take a look? There's at least 4 quarterbacks of franchise potential caliber that are coming out in this year's draft. There is no way I see the Jones family sitting there and saying to themselves, we have to take Dak off of this franchise tag and pay him this large sum of money so that we can save the future of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see that as being logical.
Oh, I think it's very logical. And yes, his price tag is going up this year for several reasons. One, they are built to win. When someone says that term, what they're meaning is, do you have all the necessary parts for you to be victorious in this league, for you to win in this league? Yes, they have all the parts. And imagine you have all the parts to build the car. You actually can build the car, but then who's the driver? And then when you realize that you don't have the proper driver, then you realize we were built to win, but we can't go where we want to go because Dak is not in the lineup. And who's the driver of this team without Dak Prescott? We've seen several quarterbacks, but let's focus in on Andy Dalton just for starters. Why? Because Andy Dalton, outside of Jameis Winston, was supposed to be the best backup that your money could buy in the NFL. Well, how that's turned out for the Dallas Cowboys, not so well. Look at this situation without Dak. Ezekiel Elliott is affected. Average 73 yards a game with Dak. Now, down to 57 yards a game. What about Dak when he was there with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup? They were all on pace for 1,100-plus receiving yards.
Lord.
Since then, how has it turned out for those guys? Now only Cooper is on that same pace. What about the fact that Gallup averaging over 20 yards a catch? Now, under 10. That's the thing. That's the Dak effect right now. So, one, you can show it through your own production that, hey, my price tag should be up there. Two, you get to see the disparity of this offense with me and this offense without me. And if you look at the numbers, my God, what a fallen star without Dak Prescott. As I look at this, look at the left. To the left, to the left. Dak Prescott over there looking pretty, like Beyonce. To the left, and then look at the right. Every other quarterback that wears a star. How in the hell his price tag didn't go up? He's sitting back at home making money, mailbox money, because of how inept this offense is without him.
Marcellus, you do know that if they were built to win, ready to win, they would do what Matt Castle did in New England when their starting quarterback went out.
And not make playoffs?
No, still win.
Not make the playoffs?
Still win.
Oh, okay.
Oh, please. They won 11 games.
That wouldn't do it. I think that's another conversation because that would talk about the system and how the system elevates the quarterback and every quarterback that is playing there. What we're seeing in Dallas, man, this was actually something that Dak Prescott needed to happen because there was a lack of appreciation for what Dak Prescott brought to the Dallas Cowboys. People talking about, oh, Andy Dalton's going to steal his job until Andy Dalton had to play. And then when you look at this offense, they can't get out of their own way. Dak Prescott was ringing up numbers. He was keeping this offense, this team competitive, even though he was playing with a historically bad defense. And then when we talk about some of his draft mates, Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Those guys are making Dak Prescott money right now because both of those guys are struggling. Carson Wentz is absolutely boo-boo, and the fact that he's making $32 million, Dak Prescott is insulted if we're not even starting at $40 million because he is far and above a better player than him. And then Jared Goff struggling. Both of those guys were taking 1 and 2 respectively. Now when it comes time to go to the table, if we were picking a quarterback, we have to say that Dak Prescott is better than all of them. Give him his money. Give it to him in droves. Pay him in nickels and dimes. It should be a ton of it.
We sure do know when Bucky Brooks has an affinity for the people or person or team we're talking about. That is one thing that is for certain. You love you some Dak Prescott, but I'm going to tell you right now,
I like good players.
As happy as you are and as jovial as you both are about Dak Prescott getting his coins.
Is that the word?
Yes, you're not going to see him get that money. I'm just letting you guys know, temper your expectations on this because you can throw out all of your full screens. I would love to hear a Marcellusism, a Wileyism, telling me about what the reasons why he should be paid the money. But you know what? The Joneses taketh away the money.
You know what?
They
It's
will
so
not
funny.
giveth the money
of this
to
word
Dak
salad
Prescott.
of rambling that LeVar is doing. That he has a new radio show coming out. Him, TJ Hushmanzada, and Plaxico Burns. I don't know how that's going to fill all them hours if you can't even do 45 minutes up here right now.
That's kind of your that's a backhanded compliment.
It is love. No,
but I appreciate it.
Congratulations on your radio show. Hopefully you don't talk Dak so you don't lose listeners. We look forward to to it right now because right now, all I hear is somebody who's like, man, he ain't that good. Oh, yes, he is. He ain't that good.
I do think he's good.
I know a quarterback better than him.
No.
Who gives a damn?
What I'm saying.
Your production shows value, and when that value's not fully appreciated, like Bucky said, then sometimes it's good to show value in absence. What does the absence show? It makes the heart grow fonder, and right now, their hearts are fond of Dak Prescott. Two things happen. One, Dak put up the numbers, and everybody says, so what? What's the team doing? And so what? No one cares because, Dak, you're still a marginal quarterback, system quarterback. Okay, since he's been injured, we saw the numbers and the difference in that, but also the comp that he needed with Deshaun Watson, who has comparable numbers, if not Dak has better numbers, getting his money. So Dak Prescott sitting there saying, not only am I going to get paid because of what I've done, I'm going to get paid of what I'm not doing this year, and I'm going to get paid because somebody else that I got a little slight edge on got his money as well.
I hope he does.
Coming up, I hear Uncle Jimmy has something to get off his chest about me. You better say it with his chest. Can't wait for this. Next, speak for yourself. Congrats, LeVar. Congrats. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy is here, so word on the street is you got something to say to me. What it do, homie? What's up, Uncle Jimmy?
Yo, man, peep this out. Remember this cut? Friends. How many of us have them? Friends.
Hey,
The ones we can depend on.
Right.
Wally, I thought that we were friends.
Oh, like that? What's up?
Yo, man, why in the hell I ain't got no seat at the big table yet? For real, man. You can't say I ain't been on my best behavior, especially since I've been here. You ain't heard me say nothing about Maydessa, my contract, or Aaron Hernandez. I ain't said nothing, man.
Right.
It's not my fault that I went to your birthday party and met your sister and your friend Omar, and it's not my fault you went to Las Vegas and showed everybody you can't fight. Hey, man, hey, what you gotta do to get a job up in this joint, man?
Hey, man, that's above my
It's
pay
not my
grade.
fault.
Hey, I'm just here reading words off the prompter. No matter what they put in there, I'm going to say it. And it doesn't say Uncle Jimmy at the table yet. That'll do it for us.